Good morning students, my name is Vishnu Tande and welcome back to my class. Dear students, in my previous class I started 10th standard economics second chapter, sectors of the Indian economy. In that class we studied what are economics activities and classification of sectors. On the basis of different criteria, sectors are classified into different groups. On the basis of nature of work, sectors are classified into three groups that we studied: primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. And on the basis of condition of work, sectors are classified into two groups: organized sector and unorganized sectors. And on the basis of ownership, sectors are classified into again two groups. They are public sector and private sector. Students, in today's class, we are going to learn the shares of sector in GDP, rising importance of tertiary sector, shares of sector in employment, unemployment, types of unemployments, and how to create more employment. So, let us start the class now. First and foremost, we shall start with the shares of sector in GDP. GDP means gross domestic product. In the year 1970 and 71, primary sector contributed in the year 1970 and 71, the GDP of our country was 8 lakh crore. Total GDP of our country in the year 1970 and 71 was 8 lakh crore. In that, private sector contributed 3.6 lakh. 3.6 lakh crore, approximately 45% of the GDP. Primary sector contributed 3.6 lakhs, approximately 45% of the GDP. And secondary sector contributed 1.8 lakh crore. 1.8 lakh crore, approximately 23% of the GDP. And tertiary sector contributed 2.6 lakh crore. 2.6 lakh crore, approximately 32% of the GDP. So it's the 1970 and 1971. This is the contribution of primary and secondary and tertiary sector. Now let us go to the 2010 and 11. In the year 2010 and 11, GDP of our country was 50 lakh crore. GDP of our country was 50 lakh crore. In that, primary sector contributed 9 lakh crore. 9 lakh crore, approximately 18% of the GDP. And secondary sector contributed 12 lakh crore. Secondary sector contributed approximately 12 lakh crore. It's around 24% of the GDP. 24% of the GDP. And tertiary sector, it contributed around 29 lakh crore. contributed 29 lakh crore. It's approximately 58% of the GDP. So, in 2010 and 11, GDP of our country was 50 lakh crore. In the primary sector contributed 9 lakh crore, approximately 18% of the GDP, and secondary sector contributed 12 lakh crore, approximately 24% of the economy, sorry, GDP, and 29 lakh crore contributed by the tertiary sector, approximately 58% of the GDP. So students, here we have seen that tertiary sector is gaining importance, rising. So now we need to understand, we need to study the rising importance of a tertiary sector. Student, you need to keep in mind, examination point of view, this part is very important. Rising importance of a tertiary sector is a very important part in terms of a examination point of view. It's very important. Board examination every year, one question is to be there. Either it could be for 3 marks or 5 marks. So keep in mind, it's a very important aspect you need to keep in mind. So let us study rising importance of a tertiary sector. Over the past 40 years, between 1970 and 71 and between 2010 and 11, between these years, like over the 14 years, while the production in all the three sectors has increased, but it has increased the most in a tertiary sector. Increment was more in a tertiary sector. We have seen that in previous data that 2010 and 11 it was 58% of the contribution given by tertiary sector itself. So as a result, tertiary sector has emerged as the largest producer in India, replacing the primary sector. You have seen that. You have seen that in 1970 and 71, primary sector contributed around 45% of the GDP. But over the 14 years, that completely changed. Primary sector was overtaken or replaced by the tertiary sector. Now, question arises in our mind. Why tertiary sector is gaining more and more important in our country in terms of production? Why it's gaining so important? Now we need to go through one by one. Let us study. It's very important. Keep in mind. First and foremost, that we need to understand why why this tertiary sector is gaining so much importance. In a developing country, the government has to take some responsibilities for provision of basic services. Government has to provide basic service such like medical, education, then military, post, banking, insurance, so on. These are the basic services that we need, and these services are provided by the government itself. So services provided by the government. Like post, police, banking, and insurance, defense. These all services are are very important, and these are provided by government itself. Now, second thing we need to understand why this tertiary sector is gaining important. Development in agriculture and industry leads the development in such a services such as trade, transportation and storage. So development in agriculture and industry leads the development in services such as trade, transportation and storage. So industry, primary sector and secondary sector develop, and this development in the primary and secondary sectors leads to the development towards the tertiary sector. This is second thing, development in a primary and secondary sector. Now, third very important point that we need to keep in mind, that as income level rise, certain section of people start demanding some more services as eating outside, tourism, shopping mall, private school, private hospitals, and professional courses such as. Obviously, that's quite common. When we have money, we give the priority for the good life. For example, we used to go to a good hotel to eat, and we want to go out for a picnic. That comes under tourism, and we give the priority for the good school, private school, that could be CBSE, ICSE and so on. And we used to go in terms of health, we used to give the priority for the private hospital where we can get a good medical facilities. So that is the reason. The rise in the income level is the third reason of a rising importance of a tertiary sector. As these all services come under in a tertiary sector, so tertiary sector started to gain importance. So now we need to go to a little further now. So next reason we need to go through, over the past decade or so, new services have come. These services directly based on information and communication technology. New services such as based on information and communication technology, these has become so important, and all the services have become essential for our life. So development in a technology and communication. So this is also one of the reasons. Development in a information and communication technology. Next one, very important, government policy is one of the very important aspect that became the cause of rising importance. So privatization, a government policy of privatization also one of the factor that became the cause of reason for the growth of a tertiary sector. Government policies. Next thing you need to understand. So a large number of people are engaged in the service sector. You can go through, for example, shopkeepers, they come under service sector. For example, repair person, then cannot imagine our life. Day to day services that we need. Early in the morning, milkman comes with the milk. So our day starts. A paper boy gives the services. He gives paper. Beginning. These are the small services we need to have a day-to-day life. So these are the reasons behind the rising importance of a tertiary sector. So let us look at the next aspect. Shares of sectors in employment. In the beginning of this class, we learned that shares of sectors in a GDP. We have seen there is a shift. 1970, 71 to 2010 and 11, there was a shift. Primary sector was overtaken by the tertiary sector. In terms of GDP, tertiary sector is giving a lot of GDP, contributing a lot of GDP, half of the GDP contributed by tertiary sector itself. Now let us study what about in terms of employment. A remarkable fact of India is that there has been a change in the share of sectors in GDP, but similar shift has not taken place. The similar shift has not taken place in employment. So we have seen primary sector in the year 1970 and 71, primary sector contributed 45% of the GDP. In the 2010 and 11, it was overtaken by the tertiary sector. 58% of the GDP was given by tertiary sector itself. Now, the same shift was not taken place in terms of employment. Still now, primary sector continues to be the largest employer. Still, half of the population depends on primary sector. So, in the year 1970 and 71, 73% of the population, 73% of the population employed in the primary sector itself. And 2009 and 10, it was around 52% of the population. 52% of the population were employed in the primary sector itself. Now question arises. There has been change in all three sectors in terms of GDP, but why there is no improvement or increment in terms of employment? Why still primary sector continues to be the largest employer? There could be many reasons. So let us study the reasons one by one. First and foremost, we need to understand enough of jobs were not generated in secondary and tertiary sectors. Secondary and tertiary sector contributed a lot in our GDP, but in terms of employment, they could not, or they were not able to generate the enough of jobs that can employment can be given, job can be given to the people. So, first reason is enough of jobs were not created in enough of jobs were not created in a secondary and tertiary sector. So, even though industrial production of goods rose up by more than 9 times. Industrial production. I mean to say that secondary sector. The production in the secondary increasing 3 times. So GDP will increase by more than 9 times, but employment increase only 3 times. The same applies to service sector as well. So in service sector, GDP increase a lot. So production in the tertiary sector increase by 14 times, more than 14 times in a tertiary sector. Production in a tertiary sector increase or rose by more than 14 times, but employment increase only 5 times. Only 5 times. So, as a result, half of the workers of the country still depend on the primary sector, especially agriculture, which producing only just quarter of GDP. So right now, the contribution of primary sector is very less. It not more than a quarter of GDP it contributes. So now, so that is the reason. So the agriculture sector is not able to generate more and more GDP. So though people are employed more, but contribution towards GDP is very less. So let us move to another aspect that we need to go through is unemployment. So this is well known aspect. If we will start, we need to go through the definition. What do you mean unemployment? Unemployment is a condition when a person is willing to work at the prevailing wage rate, but he or she is not getting job. Unemployment is a condition when a person is willing to work at the present wages or a prevailing wage rate, but he or she is not getting job. This condition is known as the unemployment. So this is about unemployment. Unemployment is a condition when a person is willing to work at the prevailing wage rate, but he or she is not getting a job. So let us go through the next one, types of unemployment. Here there are two types of unemployment. First one is underemployment. Or disguised unemployment. And second one is seasonal. Seasonal unemployment. So let us go through one by one. What does underemployment or disguised employment mean? So underemployment is nothing but more than people engage in a job than it requires. More people engage in a job than it requires. For example, I alone can leave this table. I alone can leave this table. So, but I call two members to leave this one. I can leave this table, but I call two more members to lift it. So extra they both seem like they are doing work, but work does not need them. In the same way, for example, let us take it's a 2 hectare of land, a piece of land. Only 3 members can cultivate. 3 members can cultivate this land easily, but there are extra 3 members who work in 6 members. So 6 members depend. They start working on a 2 hectare of land. If these 3 members move out, production does not affect on production. So these 3 members seems underemployed. So underemployed or disguised unemployment is nothing but more people engage in a job than it requires. So let us put the next one. It's called seasonal unemployment. Seasonal unemployment happens when people are not able to find jobs during some month of the year. Seasonal unemployment happens when people are not able to find jobs during the some month of the year. This kind of unemployment can be found in our agriculture sector. Probably most of the time, people those who are dependent on the agriculture sector face such problems. There are certain months, busy months during sowing, harvesting, weeding, thrashing is done. They get enough of jobs during this time. But after this, there are some months, certain months which do not provide them job. So this is about the seasonal unemployment. Now we need to go through unemployment exists throughout the world, especially in our country. It's more it is. Now what to do? How to create more jobs in country? So let us go through. If we build more and more dams and water, canal water is supplied to the poor farmer, that can be result to generate more employment. So we need to build more and more dams, and canal water has to be supplied to the poor farmer where they can get more and more job. Next, cheap credit should be given to the people, those who work in agriculture sector. Cheap rate or credit should be provided them, and more amount should be spent on transportation, storage, and other sector where even tourism. If we invest more and more in tourism, that can generate more and more employment. And banks and government should give loan to the people to run their own business, self-employment, and we can give a training, vocational training, and we can give technical training to the unemployed youth to generate the self-employment. So these can be done. Students, you may remember that 9th standard poverty is a challenge that the government has introduced a lot of programs, poverty alleviation program. In that, you learned one thing, that Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Act. You learned that. So let us go through that one only. We used to call it REGA. It's also known as the MGNREGA. Mahatma Gandhi ji, it's a National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005. It introduced in 2005. So it aims to provide 100 days assured jobs. Mahatma Gandhi ji National Rural Employment Guarantee, it assured the 100 days wages, 100 days assured job of the rural household, and one third of the jobs were reserved to women. If an applicant doesn't get a job, if a applicant doesn't get a job, government gives them a unemployment allowance. So this is all about the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural